Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Belinda here from Visualised NZ. I am going to do an art journal project today. Please excuse me, I'm still a bit froggy. I'm participating in Junk Journal September and I've fallen behind thanks to being sick. So I'm trying to catch up by doing a couple of spreads a day, and I'm still, I think, about 4 days behind. So I thought I would just bring you along today to work on a spread. So I'll give you a quick flip through first of what I've got so far. So this is my wee journal that I made for Junk Journal September. Junk Journal September is hosted by Cassie at Dust to Roses on Instagram. So I made this collaged cover, covered it in plastic book cover stuff, cover seal, whatever you call it. And then I've stuck in the list of prompts for the month in the front. So the first spread was Begin, and I actually managed to do that on the first day, which was great. It's getting a bit dirty, but never mind. So just a colouring page which I coloured in and added to. Second prompt was Kindness. So just a bit of mixed media stuff happening there. Not particularly fond of the page, but you know, some days are like that, so I'm just calling it done. This is getting dirty from the oil pastel that I've used on this page. That explains that. The next one was Season, and we're in spring here in New Zealand. 1st of September was the 1st of spring, so I just did a spring themed mixed media spread. And then the next one was Lost and Found, so just a fun sort of patchwork style background with some wording and some little sketches. Change was the next one, and I really enjoyed making this collaged butterfly and a bit of paint around the edges. Next one was Cracked. So I did this fun spread. I really enjoyed doing this. I had the concept and I was super pleased with how my concept actually turned out in reality. So I've got this dimensional sticker here that's breaking through the paper, and then I just gave it some creases to look like cracks and some ink rubbed over the top to make them stand out a bit. So really enjoyed that one. The next one is Envelope, and so I made this envelope from a book for paper lovers out of the Flow book, with a little journal card inside. I haven't written anything on the back, I've just put the sentiment on the front of it. And then there's these mini envelopes I made with the offcuts, which just say find a way. So I'll just remember to close those up later. And then on the card in the pocket it says make art. So there we go. If you can hear the noises, it's just my husband walking through. He's heading back to work tomorrow after having COVID, so we'll dispense with the random noises from tomorrow. The next one is Muted, and I wasn't sure what I was going to do for this, so I just went with muted colours, and I just really love the look. I think it's really pretty. Next one was Dreams, so just using some children's book illustrations for that one, bit of paint in the background, some washi tape, and I printed out some words. The next one, I started this one yesterday and finished it this morning, so I only managed to get this one, I think, done yesterday, or between yesterday and today. It took me quite a while to do the colouring in. So again, a couple of pages out of a Flow book, and which I coloured, and then I wrote in some text that says, "We make patterns, we share moments," and that was written by Jenny Downham. And that brings us to the next spread, which I want to concentrate on today, and it is number 11. So it should have been done on the 11th of September. So you can see I'm still behind, and the prompt is Bloom. So Bloom, I want to do a nice big flower. So I do have a plan in mind. Firstly, I'm going to cut a big circle out of book page. and this is going to be the center of my flower. And I just want to pop that down so that I know where to put my petals. So where do I want it? Do I want it in the middle? I want it off to one side. I will mention I prepared this page. It's a magazine page which had an image of a building and trees and things on it. I didn't want to completely cover over it, so I painted it with a dry brush and some acrylic paint, just so that the texture and colour still kind of showed through. And it's very similar colour to the brown paper on this side. So I just wanted to retain some of that colour and texture on that page. And I think that paint worked particularly well. I'm thinking I might pop it down here. So I'm just going to glue that down. And then I will have another piece gluing. Is that a word? Glued over top when I've done all the petals. Gee, as soon as I start talking, I get very froggy, so I do apologise for that. Have a sip of my coffee before it gets too cold. Right, and I have some jelly prints here. These are a couple of older ones which I've still got hanging around, and then I've got this big, well, it's half a sheet actually. I've already torn it in half. This is what I use for my roll-off sheets when I'm doing work on my jelly print, and I'm just going to cut that down even further so it's easier to work with. And this is what I'm going to make my petals out of. Right, so I'll just put that half aside, and these couple, I'm not sure how many layers I'm going to do for my flower. And I'm just going to cut some random sort of petalish shapes. I'm not drawing them out, I'm not measuring them, I'm just cutting rough petal shapes. And the paper's a bit curly, so that could be a bit challenging. So for these petal shapes, they're, you know, you could actually call them leaf shapes even. That's that sort of shape, like that. And these have got pointy tops. I might give them rounded tops or not. I probably won't, because I'll probably forget, and I'll probably just lay them down as they are already cut. Right, so I'm just going to make this as quick as possible. Cut out, I'm going to get rid of those because they're in my way. And that bit on there, and those scraps can be used for something else. And I quite like having the petals not completely perfect and symmetrical and everything like that. I like if they've got a bit of movement to them, a bit of interest in their shape. It's quite fun cutting this painty paper. It's quite textured, and you can feel it on your scissors. You feel the different textures. Those bits just super annoy me. They're just getting in the way, so whip them off. And I have no idea how many petals I'm going to need, so it'll be a case of making it up as I go along. Right, so this is where having this circle just helps me know where I want to lay my petals. Yeah, and I'm just going to start laying them down. So I'll cut a batch, glue them on, cut another batch, glue them on, and that way I'm sort of know when I've got enough petals. Now I'm going to let them fall across the border of the page so they go on to the next page. So hopefully everyone's having a good week out there. I was very disappointed, despite the fact that they said we might get thunder and hail. We got nothing but wind and a little bit of rain last night. So that was very disappointing. I was nothing like a good thunderstorm. But sadly we missed out. A little bit of grit coming off these painty bits. So the bits that fall over the page I will trim off once the glue's dry, I think. I think they're a bit too big to leave hanging over. But yeah, just take them off when they're dry. And I'm just going to keep building my flower like this basically. And if you don't have jelly paper, painty paper, you could make yourself some painty paper. Just grab any paper, and you could even use book page and some paints and a brush or your fingers. Don't even need a brush really. And just create a random abstract background, and then you could cut it up for petals, or you could use magazine paper. You could use book pages, just plain book pages like I'm using for the middle. That would look super pretty. You could use anything. You could use your child's artwork. That'd be a fun way to retain it. Cut it into collaging pieces, and then you've still got the artwork but in a different format. Right, so we need some more. Cut off these bits again. Please excuse me, and that's getting a bit funky there, so I do need to trim that off. Otherwise I'm going to get it into all sorts of gluey trouble. And maybe I can cut it into a smaller petal. And I'll grab out my book that, if you watched yesterday, you'll know what I'm pulling out, my phone book. Just stick down the bits of paper. Right, find a page to pop it on. Here we go, same one I was in yesterday. Otherwise that's going to end up in the rubbish bin, and it's a perfectly beautiful little scrap with glue on the back of already. Oops, and this one's sticking to my desk, so well, they both are, so even though I was going to leave them till later, it's going to drive me nuts. So let's just deal with them now, like so, and turn that into another little petal. Grab my book back. So this way I'm not only not wasting the paper, but I'm not wasting the glue that's on the back of the pieces of jelly print as well. Let's go up here. And this tiny little piece pop there, probably end up getting covered, but that's alright. Right, excuse me, I'll just have another sip of coffee. Right, and back to cutting more petals. And I love these for doing things like this with, because of the random colours. You get bits of all different colours randomly put, and I think it adds so much texture and interest to what you create using this paper. Super fun. If you don't have a jelly plate, then I'd have to say, firstly, you're really missing out. They're so much fun to play with and so useful for creating backgrounds and interesting collage papers and all sorts of fun things. for the longest time when they first came out, I was like, oh, I don't know if I'd ever use one of those. I can't see the point. And it took me ages before I finally actually bought one. And I must say, since I did, I haven't looked back. And I've had it for several years now. And when I do have a jelly printing session, I just like lose time. I'm there for ages because it's kind of hard to stop once you get going. And if you do jelly printing, then you know exactly what I mean. It's very hard to know where to stop. You just kind of get lost in the process. Right, so I'm going to whip around now with the second layer of petals. I want to make sure that I've filled in all the gaps around the rim of the center of the flower. Oops, bit of hair caught in there. So excuse my arm gluing under the camera there. It's just natural for me to glue on that side away from me, because that's just how I've always done it. Right, I might have to go in with some tacky glue because the glue stick sometimes doesn't work that great on the texture of the paint and has a bit of problem sticking to each other. So I'm prepared that I might have to go in with my tacky glue to get bits that won't stick down properly. So what's on everyone's crafty desk today? What are you busy making? Love to know what you're up to. Have you participated in the Scrappy actions yet? Are you intending to? Lydia and I are having so much fun, and there's lots still to come for September. So do subscribe to my channel and to Lydia's channel. All the details will be in the description box if you don't want to miss out on any of the fun things we've got coming your way this month. We'd love for you to join us, and we'd love if you participated as well. The things that we've got, the Scrappy actions, they're all just quick little projects, nothing too major. So, you know, don't be put off that you're having to put a lot of effort or time into something. They're just quick little things that we hope will be useful, little projects, and hopefully will inspire everybody. Right, might be able to get one more out of there. Right, just going to trim that down a little bit. And I think I almost need a new glue page already. Right. Getting there with this first layer, or second layer I guess we're up to now, of petals. I think it's looking super pretty. Nice big bloom. And there's not much left of this glue stick left. Gonna need another one soon. So I think I'll get this one done, and then I'll be able to change out my glue page. And can we get one out of this funky little shaped petal? Yep, that'll work. Put that one in there. Okay, and I do have a couple of areas lifting up that I can see right now. So I'm just going to go in and take care of those, particularly these ones that go over the page, because when it gets folded backwards and forwards, I don't want them to come off. That one's not too bad. Okay, it was just the one there that needed some attention. Right, so the next stage is I want to go and draw around the petals, and I was thinking of doing it with black, and then I decided I wanted something a bit brighter. So I'm using a white Posca pen, and it's a PC3M. I think that relates to the size. It's not a fine one, but it's, yeah, just a little bullet tip. And I thought if I just draw around the petals just very loosely in white. And just keeping it very sketchy. I'm not worried about it being, you know, full coverage or anything. Just a sketchy look is fine, because this is very textured, this paint. Just make sure my pen keeps working. And I didn't want to go in with Sharpie, because Sharpies can get ruined on top of acrylic paint. And I don't want to ruin my Sharpies. So just giving them a bit of definition by doing this. Sorry, I just had to deal with my nose. So that one disappears off the page, so I need to trim that. And then this one, I think it's mostly disappearing off the page. And that one underneath is completely, the edges are completely covered, so, and the next one's completely covered on the edges, so I won't give it any edging. So a few of these don't need to be edged because they are overlapped completely. So who else out there is participating in Junk Journal September? Let me know if you are. I'd love to come and see what you've done to meet the prompts. You're probably all way ahead of where I am at. Right. Okay. I think that's quite cool. Now, do I want to do another layer? I think I need to do my middle circle to see how it's looking. So I'll cut another circle out and lay that over top. Oh, really scared. No. Let's try the other side. Do I do another layer of petals? I'm kind of really liking how that looks, but I'm not sure whether another layer will ruin it or make it better. So maybe I'll cut some out and then I can choose whether I glue them down, and I can always create another flower somewhere else. So what colour would I like? Oh, I can't even decide which colour would work better. I think this one. So I'm just going to trim off this white edge because I don't want the bright white there. So that strip I can get rid of because I can't think of a use for that at all. And so this time I want to go and create some smaller petals. Now if they end up too big, if I cut them too big, I can just trim them down. But I'm just doing the same action, creating that sort of leaf shape. I'm making them thinner and shorter than my first layer of petals. So yeah, so if it doesn't look any good, then I'll just make another flower, maybe in my personal journal for today. That'd be pretty. Add some colour into my personal spread. Right, let's see how we're going with those. So I'll get rid of my middle circle for now. Oops, I've got paper stuck all over my fingers. Yeah, I'm going to put them down. I think they'll look good. Whoops, I forgot to change out my blue page. My glue page, not my blue page. Gosh, who knew talking was so difficult? There we go, there's another base for a journal card or a pocket or something. And let's see if I can bring my glue book over a little bit so I'm not reaching so far. Oops. Yep, not much glue left on this glue stick at all. So I'm not sure if I'll do a complete layer of these or whether I'll just pop them around in spots. So I'll just start with what I've got cut and see how it looks and whether I want to add any more. These are not sticking to the layers of paint, so let's go on with my tacky glue. And there's some little grits of paint caught in my glue stick as well, which probably not helping. So go on with a bit of glue, and then I know they're not going to come loose. That first one stuck down okay, but it might not stay stuck. Hopefully you can hear me okay. I feel like I'm talking really quietly, but I do have an ear infection, so I feel like I'm talking underwater. Hopefully you can hear okay. Hopefully it's just my hearing that's not operating per normal, because I can't tell whether I'm actually speaking normally or not. Now I've got glue all the way down there, so I will put this one on this side. So this one I'll not glue all the way to the end because it's going to hang off the page. And same with this one. Right, bring back my center. I think that's actually just enough. I don't think I need to add any more. I'll go back in with my white pen and give them an edging as well. Pen's a lot happier on these ones because they're not so gritty, not so textured as those first paper I was using. Cool. And then our circle. Oh, I think that's pretty. That's really pretty. Okay, now I do want to write on the middle of this, and so I will use my Sharpie for this. Grab out my Sharpies, and I'm going to do it in black because I want to write over top of the writing so that grits from the paint, so that the writing, what I've written, shows up rather than the writing on there. Now let's see if I can space this out okay. So I'm going to write the word bloom. There we go, that's okay. Right, I might give that just a little bit more weight to it rather than just a single layer. So I'm going to cut another circle and glue that onto the back. So I'll just use glue stick just to make it a bit stronger, and because this has now got different layers and different depths to it, I don't want my centre to come adrift. Okay, there we go. And do I want to edge it in anything? I think I might just give it some distress ink around the edges. I don't know why, I just feel like it. Sometimes you just do things because you feel like it. So my husband and I were watching a movie before I started this video, and the time was getting on, and I was like, we're going to have to stop the movie and get my video done, otherwise it's going to be way too late in the day and it's not going to happen. It was a real shame though. We're watching Top Gun Maverick, and really enjoying it. It's super fun. Of course, I remember the original Top Gun when that came out. Great movie, and just really enjoying the new one as well. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but I'm really enjoying it. Right, so now I need to trim off. So I want to get this video done so we can get back to watching the movie. Oops, this is stuck itself down to some of the pages in behind, which is not ideal. Not the end of the world either. Right. So let's trim these petals. Getting all stuck up with the glue. I'm not worrying about saving these bits because I'm just getting in all sorts of sticky mess. Those two I might, because that glue on them is dry. Right, so I think I will have to go back in with some tacky glue, but I'll wait and see how it is. Just give it a little bit of time to set before I close it up. So there we go, there's my bloom spread for prompt 11 of Junk Journal September, and the next one I need to do is monochrome, so I will finish the movie and then I'll perhaps work on that later this evening. So there we go, I hope you like that spread, and I hope it's inspired you to perhaps do this in your own art journal or just to do a bit of art. Have fun, and I'd love to see if you do it yourself. So that's the video for today, guys, and I'll see you back tomorrow. Have a great evening. Bye.